does a saint become a saint? I'm sure that most of you probably know this already, that in order to be a saint, the process is actually very long and tedious and elaborate. That's why we don't have a lot of saints. And that's what sets us very different from an actual saint or a real saint. Okay? If you're going to be a saint, you need to know this, that I need to pray to you, and you need to have a miracle in your life, maybe one or two, at least one or two. And then once the miracle happens, the Catholic Church needs to properly authenticate that miracle. That's the only time that you can be eligible for sainthood. You understand what I'm trying to say? So you see, saints and miracles go hand in hand together. Okay? I'll show you a few examples of some saints. You probably might know some of them. This is Saint Joseph of Cupertino. There he is, Saint Joseph. He was an Italian friar. His miracle in life, they said this, I read up on him, was that whenever he would pray, they said that he would be lifted. He would levitate off the ground about 8 feet. You know, just praying, and then he's floating in the air. The gift of levitation. That's an amazing gift to have. And it was not just a one-time isolated event that happened in St. Joseph's life. In fact, they have a recording of about 70 moments, 70 episodes where he actually floated in the air. It was called the gift of levitation. Say gift of levitation. I know that I'm not eligible yet to become a saint. Why? Because I don't have the gift of levitation. I only have the gift of desperation, the gift of temptation, and the gift of constipation. Here's another saint. Blessed Alexandrina da Costa. Wonderful woman. She was a Portuguese woman. Her miracle in life was that for many years, she did not take a single bite. She only, get this, she only drank water and took Holy Communion. You want to know how long she did this? Ask me how long. A little bit louder. How long? 13 years. 13 years. Imagine 13 years of not eating. Some of us can't even some of us can't even last an hour without taking a bite. I was reading on her story and I got hungry. Started eating. That's something I definitely cannot do, especially after I received my diagnosis of this life-threatening serious condition called hunger. How many of you have that same condition? Look at the person beside you. Does that person look hungry? Sometimes when they're hungry, they become hangry. Here's another one. You probably know him, Saint Padre Pio. How many of you know Padre Pio? We all know Padre Pio. The incorruptible body of Padre Pio still is in full display right now. No decomposition, no decay. That's a miracle in itself already. But some of you might not know this, that Padre Pio had the gift of bilocation. Say bilocation. What is bilocation? It means that he was in two places at one point. At one time, he was meditating in his room, but then somebody saw him ministering to another person in a different location. Wouldn't you like to have that same gift? I mean, imagine working in your office desk in the morning, and at the same time, you're lounging in the beach in the Bahamas. That's a wonderful gift. So you see, saints and miracles go hand in hand. But what does it take to be a saint? The saints, I believe, were able to do what they did simply because they were full of God's presence. Right? But here's my question. How do you become full of God's presence? Would you like to know how? Yes? Ask me how. It's called kenosis. Let's go back to that verse. Everybody say one more time, kenosis. Let me read that same verse to you. By the way, this verse that Paul was writing in his book, in his gospel, is actually based on a local hymn that he must have plagiarized and recoded, put it in a passage in his gospel. It was a local hymn being sang in the local churches back then. So it says here, though he was in the form of God, he did not count equality with God a thing to be grasped, but emptied, everybody say emptied, but emptied himself by taking the form of a servant, being born in the likeness of men. The Greek word kenosis is a noun that simply means empty. Empty. Everybody say empty. Empty. Why was Paul quoting this again in his scripture? You need to remember this, that before Jesus came into this world to save us, He had everything going in his life already. He was the second person in the Blessed Trinity. He was the Word by which the entire universe was based on, was built on. But you know what he did? He chose to abdicate his throne, to relinquish his divinity. Why? So that he could be friends with you and me. Let's give a big hand to Jesus just for that.